boys and girls. What are we doing today? Snow removal. And I know there's folks out there that are considering maybe buying a blade for their quad to do snow removal. And it works great, I do. You need room to push the snow, you gotta put it somewhere. I have a pretty big driveway and I use this and my snow blower. Usually my wife jumps on the quad and she's pushing it into kind of like windrows. Then I can blow it. It works real well. It's fast, it's efficient. But maintenance. You still gotta do maintenance on your snow blade. Did you go buy one of these blades and you put it on and you can't just run it and ignore it. It's not a fridge. You don't just plug it in and just forget about it until it breaks. You gotta do a few little things. If you wanna save money, and that's what we're trying to do here and teach people. So we're gonna start on the wearing item here. It's this cutting edge. This is called a cutting edge. When this blade was new, this is your parent steel, we'll call it. When it was brand new, this piece of flat steel here is bolted on. These are called carriage bolts. And when it was new, it was the same thickness from the center of this bolt to here as from the center of the bolt down to here. And that's how much is gone, worn off. And that's just from it pushing on your driveway. That's normal. This is the sacrificial part that is going to wear. What you don't want to wear is into the parent steel of your blade here. So you need to keep an eye on this. As it gets thinner and thinner and thinner, you got to look on the bottom side under here and look at how close it's getting to the original blade material. And before that happens, you don't want the blade running on the driveway. You want this cutting edge on the driveway. So let's go down there and have a look at it. All right. See, in this area right here, there's my original blade material up here. Here's the cutting edge. I've still got what looks like to be a fair bit left all the way down. But I think I'm ready to change it, and I'll tell you why. I don't change it, I flip it over and wear the new material. This does not wear evenly. It wears thinner on the corners. If you look here, there's a nice gap there, and over here it gets thinner. And you go out to the other side, it's thinner on the corners. So there's very little material left here. I'm actually on this corner, I'm right there. I literally have a tiny little bit of material left. Not much. My blade is just about there. And the reason it wears on the corners is because when you have your blade sitting on an angle and you're pushing your snow on an angle, the corner digs in a little deeper. There's more pressure on the corners depending on how your blade is angled. So what you can do is you can flip it. So what I'm going to do is unbolt this cutting edge and flip it over and start with a new material here. Nice square edge. All this amount of material will wear out. And when it gets down to the bottom of where I'm rubbing on my back of my blade again, then I go buy a new one to replace it. So far, I've gotten 3 winters out of that edge on the original side. So I'm gonna flip it now. It's real easy to do. Just need a bolt, just need an impact or a wrench socket. Undo those bolts, all of them, flip it over 180 degrees, bolt it back on, then you're good to go. For me, it's probably another 3 years. It really depends on how much snow you've got, how much down pressure you have on that blade, how rough your driveway is, if it's cement, if it's asphalt, if it's tile, it makes a difference. It's gonna have different wear characteristics on the steel cutting edge. So let's get that done and get this blade ready for the rest of the winter. I'm gonna use my impact. It's pretty well overkill for the job, but it's quick, it's convenient, and it happens to be sitting here. The carriage bolt has a square shoulder on it, and the hole in the cutting edge is punched square. So when you put it in there, it doesn't twist. And that's so you can have a smooth surface here. You don't have a bolt head here. If a bolt head was here, it might get rounded off and be difficult to get a wrench on. So carriage bolts are good. Your friend, quick and easy. Last one. Not having the right tools for the job. It's So on your Christmas and your birthday, save your money, save your pop cans, and buy good tools. It's ready to go. As mentioned, you can see that the bolt holes are not in the center of this piece of steel anymore. This much is gone. It's quite a bit, eh? So I'm gonna wipe this down, clean it up with a rag, flip it over, put it back on again. This is the piece we do not want to wear into. If you're lazy, you don't flip your cutting edge over and it wears out, you're going to grind this away. One thing I should point out is, when the blade was originally installed, when it was brand new, it looked like that. And it was cupping on the ends. Like I said, this part here is worn more than the center because I'm angling the blade a lot. But it seemed to have more wear on one side than the other, and I didn't want to quite flip it yet. So all I did was I took it and I reversed it end to end like this. And that was last year I did that. And I reinstalled it, the same wearing side down on the bottom, but then I moved over, you know, the opposite ends, flipped it over like that, so there's more wear material to wear again. And now I'm through that. Now I'm flipping it this way, put it back on. Maybe later I'll endo it one more time. Depends how it wears. Let's look at it. Do your maintenance. I'm very fortunate to have this and have a garage that I can do this in. Heat it up. I turned on the propane heat before I started. Warmed it up so my little tender hands wouldn't get cold. And got all the snow off of here and the mud and crap. Alright. Nice square brand new cutting edge ready to go. 3 years worth of life left. Now we're going to put these nuts back on and it'll be done. You know, sometimes I think about my sons. They're young. They're in their early 20s. And they're not here to watch me do all this stuff anymore. They're out on their own. These are kind of lessons that they probably missed out on. They never learned, right? So maybe someday in the future, when I'm not doing this anymore and I'm not around, maybe, or maybe I am, or maybe they can watch my videos. And they can go, hey, you know, maybe there's a video on how to take care of your snow blade. Maybe Dad made a video. So it gives me something to do during COVID, making these silly videos. But I know there's a lot of people that don't have a clue. It's not a big deal. There's no dumb questions. You gotta learn. And why not learn with a YouTube video? And although my sons aren't interested today, or have time today, sure as hell they will be in the future. They want to save $1, like, Dad, can you help me? I don't want to pay for this. And I'll be like, turn on YouTube, watch my videos. I'll be grumpy. Crank on those too long. They're not that big of a bolt. Probably a grade 3 or a grade 5 carriage bolt. You don't want to snap them off. Look at the difference. I got all this material now below this is my blade, all brand new thick cutting edge ready to go. So now when it's up to the blade again, or at least in the corners, I'll do the 180 thing and rotate it. I'll get more material out of this again. Then when it gets down to the corners are worn, it's coming off, I just go buy another one. I don't know, I'm gonna guess it's gonna cost me around 50 bucks or something for that piece of steel. But if I get 6 years out of it, I'm happy with that. There you go. So there you go, we're done. That literally took like 15 minutes. Little preventative maintenance, keep your stuff alive. Have a good one.